I have been thinking about something. Were we raised to survive Britain, or were we raised to belong in Britain? Welcome to On The Veranda with Kel. This is a space where we share and talk about stories from the Jamaica or Caribbean diaspora, where sometimes these things are said quietly and sometimes they're said with shame. We'll just have genuine, authentic conversations about it.
Last episode, we spoke about whether or not Jamaicans abroad actually wanted to go home. Today, I've been thinking about something a bit more deeper.
Today's topic, I've got my sister with me.
Hi.
So this is my sister Kim, and I thought she'd be a really good guest to have today, as we've got the same parents, the same home, we shared the same womb, not at the same time.
You're significantly older though.
Thank you. However, I do believe that our upbringing could be a lot different. So Miss Kim, when you think about how we were raised, do you feel like it was grounded, or it made you feel grounded, or do you think it made you feel disciplined?
The thing is, I was raised as the baby, daddy's baby. That was my nickname as a child, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I wanted to upkeep that title. So I was Miss Goody Two Shoes, and I was therefore rewarded as the baby, no trouble here. So I don't think I received a certain level of discipline because I was already a good child.
Oh, Lord.
So then when I came here, I already had that mentality. However, I came here at 8, straight into primary school, where children...
Wicked.
They're not very kind.
No.
So I was then tested.
Yeah.
I was tested because when you go into a primary school at that age with an accent, a Jamaican accent. So, I was being bullied for my accent. I was being bullied for my features. I was being bullied for just dumb things. And the choices were, kind of smile through the pain and, tattletale, or bully back. And I didn't bully back. Because that wasn't how I was raised. We were raised to be kind and to also be nice to each other.
Yeah, and understand differences.
Yeah.
Because in Jamaica, although you don't have that big mixing pot of cultures, you still had people who didn't have as much. And also our upbringing, would you describe our upbringing as like privileged? I don't want to use the word privilege because I feel that word gets thrown around nastily. But I would say like our dad was a businessman, or is a businessman because he was still at the business. Yeah. And our mom was a teacher at a high school. And our dad really valued education. Yeah. And so did our mom. So for them, sending us to the best high schools and the best primary schools in Jamaica was a key thing for them. Them never care too much about clothes and shoes and whatever. But we all went to private schools. Yeah. So when I say grounded, I mean internal stability, like knowing who you are and being able to stand firm even when your environment changed. So you mentioned when you went to primary school and kids were like making fun of your accent. How did you manage through that? What were some of the things that you did that helped you get through it? Because you may not have gotten through it emotionally, but in terms of going back to school every day, did you change your accent, or what did you have to do? That one them bad still.
Well,
I won't tell them the story, but
I don't know. Listen, the accent was, I always say this, it was bullied out of me, right? The accent was bullied out of me, and I was rapidly trying to pick up that British accent. I was listening and trying to replicate as much as I could.
I'm practicing.
And I wasn't getting it right at first. So we were in town and I think we were about to get the bus, or we just come off the bus, and these market research people, they were looking, which also, when you hear this story back, it sounds mad because this could never happen now.
But it's back in the day.
Back in the day. So they were looking for young kids to come and do a survey on, like, I think it was on Barbie or something.
Yes, and you get a Barbie at the end of it. Did you get the Barbie?
I did get a Barbie at the end of it, right?
Carry on.
So this lady comes up to us and mum and goes to mum like, oh, you know, how old is the child? Would she like to take part? Blah, blah, blah. And then the lady looks at me and goes, what's your name? And then I said, Kimala.
I did. Oh my God. Let me tell you the way how we made fun of her for so many years.
Wait, for context, my name is pronounced Kimberly.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's my name. That's how it's pronounced. However, as I said before, I was still developing my accent, my British accent. So I was trying to figure out the accents, the tones, you know, and that's what came out of my mouth at the time. And I remember Mummy looking at me like...
Did I laugh at you immediately?
I don't know.
I must have.
I just remember making eye contact. Mummy would be like, shh.
Don't correct me.
We're here now. And then you know what? When we went, because the lady took us to an office to like do the survey, and I remember her writing on the form, she spelt my name with an A at the end.
And that's what you did say.
Because that's how it was pronounced to her.
But you know what? This is such a good story to show how when you come to Britain, it's almost like in order to survive your experiences, you have to start removing some parts of you. And as you said, you felt like your accent was bullied out of you. And I had a similar experience. Not in the sense that somebody asked me something, but I realized how difficult my life was going to be if I didn't try to merge. If you ask me now, should I have done that? No. But when you come to the UK, you actually don't know how to manage this environment in the best way. So you literally adjust in the way that you think you need to. And one of them is to lose your accent. And unfortunately, that story did show that as well. Okay, let's talk about mom and dad a little bit. Okay, so dad's principles. Dad is a proper Jamaican man with the Jamaican principles of going to church, making sure that your children have a good education, being a father figure in the sense of what that is, and teaching you principles for the future. So an example is when I started university in Jamaica, my dad, who could have afforded to pay my entire school fee to go to university, said to me, I'll pay half. This is the exact amount that half is. And you will go and work the other half. And he made sure that I did that every semester. I would say, all right, dad, pass the half, pass the half, or I'm going to pay the half. And then I would have to make sure that whatever jobs that I did covered the other half. And some people may look at that and like, oh, God, he couldn't just whatever. But for my dad, he was very focused on teaching us from a very early age responsibility and accountability.
Yeah.
Very, very early. Yeah. Those were the things that I think has really helped me here in Britain. So yeah, that's. Thanks, Daddy. Hopefully you watch this. And then Mommy now. Oh, Mommy. Oh, Mommy.
So Mummy is she's our in-house pastor.
Oh yes. Hallelujah.
She has, I think she was really big on making sure we went to church and, you know, kind of having that relationship in the church with God, you know, growing up right up. If she could drag us into church at our big age right now, she would.
Yeah. She still fast and pray for us. I'm sure that's what that's about.
Yeah. I think her... In terms of the difference, Daddy was definitely built on, you know, certain foundations and making sure we tick certain boxes. But Mummy, I think, insisted on, I want to say like manners and kindness.
Yeah. Mummy is all about kindness. Like, yes, you know, there's justice that should be served. Yeah. But she's still like, kind, be kind, you know, like she's the soft element of my dad, you know? So the foundation of mommy is softness, Christ-likeness, forgiveness, you know, like big on forgiveness. So that's what mommy was like. So again, when you think about our upbringing, the key structures is one, education, principle, accountability, and kindness and softness, work ethics as well. Big on work ethics.
I think it's like a proper yin and yang, isn't it? Like they balanced us nicely. You know? I mean, it makes sense why none of us has turned to drugs and crime and, you know.
Yes, but there's still time.
There's still time. There's still time. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit tricky, I think. Do you think that we were raised for Jamaica or for Britain? And the reason why I said that this is tricky is something we've not declared so far. Ready?
What?
Our mom was actually born here. She's a Windrush baby. She has a whole different angle of migration because she was born here in the UK in the 60s. Yeah. And then she went back to Jamaica in the 70s. And returned to England back in 2004. So she has her own migration story of going back to Jamaica as a teenager. And then she dragged her eldest child back here as a teenager. So now the upbringing is interesting because were we raised for Jamaica or were we raised for Britain? So all the things that we said about mommy and daddy. Would you say that they were preparing us for this environment or were they preparing us for Jamaican environment?
I think Jamaican environment. Daddy has told me point blank several times that, you know, he thought I was going to be a nurse or some sort of, you know, some sort of teacher. And I think that's such a Jamaican.
It's funny because he told me to go do a trade. I don't understand why. But anyways,
I don't think I was being trained to come here. I really don't, honestly. But then again, I was small. I was a child. I was 8. So, you know, I was at a very adaptable age. I think you though, you were locked in at 18.
Yeah, I was locked in at 18, and to be honest with you, I think both the yin and yang approach was very focused on survival anywhere. And the very best quality of survival as well. So, you know, like making sure that my expectation wasn't that I needed to receive things from any environment that I'm in. They taught me the value of hard work. And I always knew that if I wanted something, I'd have to work extremely hard for it. And I feel like I've come to England now. And I work at Primark, we do care work, we do all sorts of job. And I feel like now am I at the top of my career, but do I need to go any further to like feel successful? I feel very successful, and I think it's because of the hard work. And I feel like when I think about my parents and their upbringing in my life, I don't know if I would have gone this far if they didn't teach me to challenge the status quo, if they didn't teach me the value of work, which is a very strong Jamaican principle. And also setting boundaries, right?
Yeah. But also, don't you think, right? Like, I remember growing up and being in like high school, and like if, you know, I don't know, if you graduated or if you you did really well at A levels or something like that, you know, all my friends, they'd get taken out for meals and they would get presents or they'd get a car, you know, something mad. And I just, well done. Good. Do you know what I mean?
Just as we taught you. You're on track.
Right. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's so bad because I remember not feeling bad that I wasn't getting the celebration, but the fact that my friends would be like, oh my God, did they not take you for a meal? Did you not get like a bag or something? Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember feeling like, am I supposed to get this? Am I supposed to feel like I'm supposed to be doing good? Right? I'm supposed to be doing well.
I think that touched the reward system in Britain. What you're describing is the reward system that we've come to adjust and adapt to.
Yeah.
But from a Jamaican perspective, in my days, I was a good child.
Yeah.
Me did never the smartest in the class. But you know, things, I was doing regular things. Like, I was a good singer. I was going and doing Jamaica. I can't remember this singing competition thing. And we went and we won a couple of times. And I don't know if my dad knew that I did that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, like these kind of things weren't necessarily celebrated in the same way it's celebrated here. Almost like success over here, every moment, every triumph is celebrated. In Jamaica, you're almost like, yes, this is the path I've set for you. You are now walking down it.
Yeah.
There's no celebration that needs to be had.
Right.
You're doing as you're supposed to do.
Right.
That's
right.
your reward. Your reward is beyond me.
Yeah.
As a parent, the reward is not me taking you for dinner. No, the reward is you will have a good life when you're older. Did you feel that dad's strictness? Oh, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this at all, but our dad was also very strict. But that's because, in my opinion, he had high expectations for us, and he came from an environment of true poverty. So he wanted to make sure that we never ended up having only those options that he had while he was growing up. He wanted to make sure that we created a lot of options for ourselves, and he did what he could. But do you think that his strictness felt like control at the time, or do you feel like the strictness that he had on us was in preparation for this new environment?
I left him when I was 8. So it was highly appropriate for him to be extremely strict with me.
Yeah.
However, Mummy was very strict with me.
Yes.
Girl, I couldn't go. There was no sleepovers.
You must be mad.
There was no like after school hangs.
Sure.
There was no play dates. Actually, I did have a few play dates. But like...
Hey, do you remember when this girl wanted you to do a sleepover and a play date and Mummy went to go do a risk assessment at the people that... Our mother did a risk assessment at somebody's house before she let her go spend the night.
And it's bad because it passed, but on reflection it should not have. But that was a very rare, that was like the only, like that specific moment you're talking about was the one sleepover I had in primary school. One. And that I never returned. It was one time, right? However, high school, all of my sleepovers were church friends.
Yeah, and we knew all the parents and stuff like that. So the dynamics was a little bit different as well. So, do you feel that the strictness that we both experienced was control as a child, as a teenager for me, or even as a child? Or do you think it was suitable preparation for today? Suitable preparation. Absolutely.
Oh
Absolutely agree with that.
It is a scary world.
Oh my God.
It is terrifying. Honestly, it's mad because I'm not a parent, but like that balance between like loosening the reins so that your child can enjoy life a little bit and also protecting them. I don't know how y'all figure out the balance, because looking back, I wouldn't, now knowing what I know, I wouldn't be surprised if Mummy never let me go nowhere ever. Like, come home straight after school.
Like, it was more dangerous outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think 100%, like, I don't think there was any control there. I think it was her trying to be as protective as possible of us.
And you can imagine as well, because Mummy's experience, because she would have come back to Britain with her own concept of what the environment would be like, and so her protection level would be a lot more intense for you, because you know she's utilizing her experience from Jamaica for all those years, because she spent her adulthood in Jamaica. She came back when she was hitting close to 50 or 40. So she's coming back as a solid adult with small children, and then there's me, her just turning adult child. I can't say that mum was strict with me. I felt like she accepted that this environment needed for me to be as available to understand it as quickly as possible, so that I could regain control of my life in the way that I needed. So I asked some of my friends, how do they think that their upbringing shaped their experience in the UK? And one of my friends replied,
my upbringing in Jamaica, it grounded me and also disciplined me in the sense of coming into an environment that is not what I'm accustomed to, coming amongst people that you might grow up with or be around with half of your life on holidays or part your family unit. And when you come into this country with the same set of people, the changes that I have seen and the challenges that I have with them, because of my upbringing, I don't allow their behavior to impact on me. I just realized that people are people, and that is how it was even back home. You see someone, you take them for who they are and move on.
For me personally, a lot of the focus wasn't necessarily on treating people. There was an overall tone of make sure you treat others with respect, but it wasn't like we didn't have a set pattern to how we treat people.
Whilst it was never directly explained to me, like, oh, make sure you offer them some tea or water if anyone comes to the house and anyone's doing work outside or anything like that. Whilst it wasn't like drilled into me, Mummy was always doing that, you know what I mean? Or like if Daddy was there, oh, go and get so-and-so water. And bear in mind, like these are people that I would meet for a second and I'd never have an interaction with them again. That wasn't like Uncle so-and-so or Auntie so-and-so. It was somebody that Daddy's asked to come and cut the grass or something.
Yeah, and you have to say morning. And you have to come and say hello properly with manners, you know?
Exactly. But no one explains why it's important to do that. You just get into a habit of doing that. And I don't know, like, maybe that in itself is like built a foundation for, because I remember like you walk past Auntie's house, morning Auntie, morning darling, and you know you get into that,
darling.
Yeah, right, to that. And I remember coming here and being like, no one says hi to each other on the street.
Girl, you remember when we did just come and we went to this place to sort out some things, and we were in a corridor sat on a bench, and there was all these important people with briefcase and backpacks. They were walking up and down this corridor, up and down, and we kept saying morning, 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 morning. I know. Some of them all look on me like we're mad. And we were just saying morning because that's our culture, right?
Yeah, and we had no idea that was weird here. Like, no idea. And that, I think, I don't know, every time I go back to Jamaica, it's like it resets my mind. Like,
yeah.
Great, okay, we're back. I got my manners back again. You know, it like goes back into you. But when you're here for a while, you get watered down because you're like, you know?
True. I remember one time I went back to Jamaica and I was walking on this road and this guy said, "Wagwan morning." I'm like,
you stop for a second like,
me know him. But me don't know him, I owe him. And then me like, no, you're there Jamaica, morning.
Yes,
you know what I mean? You don't have to know him, it's just manners, you know? But I guess that's the whole point, right? But one thing that I think is also because we learn the importance of manners, we understand the value of it here as well.
Yeah, yes, that is true.
Yeah. So whereas good morning may not be the biggest thing, but in time of need, when we need to have manners, when it becomes part of our identity, we know when to use it.
Yeah, it's like an on and off switch. Kind of like, you know.
We know when it's important because we've had to show it to everyone as much as possibly. So we have a culture of saying good morning. We have a culture of encouraging each other. So this is where we starting to talk about things that become a little bit more emotionally driven. So for example, have you ever felt like you've had to soften yourself in certain rooms? And if you ever felt like you had to do that, did you think it was a compromise or competency?
Professionally, I've always been fine. I figured out how to use a dial properly. Do you know what I mean? In friendships and like the closer ones, I find that sometimes, because Jamaicans, we rough play with our mouth. Do you know what I mean?
Dangerous.
And I find that
you can't do that over here with the people them.
No matter what they look like.
But then, all right, you know our little club, our little club night. So we've got a group of friends. We go and we meet up on the weekend and rough play. It's like a practice. Una have bloomer pants, have ugly shoes, can't find good clothes to wear. Oh, it's like everything that you cannot discuss outside of your culture gets brought in on one night, and it's in one space, and we just rinse each other. It's almost like we just relax and rinse. So me understand that. Me understand it.
But when you don't have that, and you're like, you know, my friendship group was mostly like, you know, West Africans.
Yeah.
Apparently they're not as rough play.
Them rough play, but not like that.
Not
them
like,
more poetic, like require a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Jamaican culture, it's more direct. Where you wear the pants, you know, see you look like bloomers.
Exactly.
You know, or yes, you know, say you're not grow. You know what I mean? Like it's more direct. You know, like you know, see. Say you're here, nah, grow. You understand?
And the thing is, when people talk to you like that, it's not coming from a place of hate or despise or anything like that. That person probably are your best friend, you know?
Yeah.
Your really good friend.
Yeah.
But when you're not in that kind of group, you sound like an enemy. Like an up.
Okay, so let me put this question on me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this particular question about softening myself in certain rooms, like, I'm glad that you mentioned with your friendship groups. However, in my career, I've been called rude, I've been called direct, I've been called try and manage your facial expressions, you know, all sorts of things, like, and I was just being myself. So yes, to be honest with you, part of me getting to where I am now has required me to soften my approach to things. I think when I turned 40, I thought identity is important. So now I stopped softening myself in rooms. Like if I'm annoyed, I'm annoyed. If I think things could be done better, I say it. And now I think I'm known as the person who will probably just tell you as it is, and we will be done in a shorter time than most people. But do we need to also still be mindful of some adjustments required? Yes. And I'd say until you get to where you can substantiate your directness, maybe read the room.
Yeah.
Did you ever worry about failure because of your upbringing? Did you ever find the idea of failing as scary?
No, girl, I did art, music, and theatre studies at A-level. Failing, I was taking this one for jokes. Like, I was like, yeah, man. And bear in mind, I loved my A-levels. Like, I loved doing the classes, but
nobody don't love A-levels.
I did art, theatre studies, and music. I was having the best time, right? I was in my creative era. But a lot of people would have looked at that and been like, oh my God.
No, we're still doing that. We're still looking.
My God. Not one serious subject. No. Lord, nothing with numbers, just vibes. Yeah.
And she only the course with vibes.
Yeah.
But you know what? For me though, I think it's our upbringing. I think because we were so structured in terms of the expectation, and as Kim said, nobody did bring we go restaurant or buy no gift when we achieve nothing. So it's almost like there was an expectation to succeed, which then meant that failing is never an option. Like we don't need to be scared of failure,
right?
Because it's not the option, and it doesn't mean that we don't fail. It just means that the failure at that point is not the full stop. It means like, okay, we need to try harder, or we need to look at this again, or we need to shift direction or something. The bigger picture of winning is not giving up, is not accepting failure. And then what about being hyper aware in Britain based on your upbringing?
Hyper aware of what?
You name it. Like how you were being perceived. You spoke about your accent when you went to school. So now you started to think a little bit more about your environment.
I don't know. I feel like I was constantly in culture shock mode.
Yeah.
I think I still am.
Yeah.
I'm still not used to it.
Because of how hyper aware that I became on arrival to the UK, I wouldn't say I developed anxiety, But I never experienced anxiety until I became a solid adult in the UK. And I think it's because my nervous system was constantly assessing and trying to learn and try to adjust and adapt, that I was just hyper active, hyper aware, and it spiked me feeling anxious.
Oh my gosh. Okay. If you're, let's say you're in Jamaica, yeah, and you're at school or something, and your friend goes, yo, I'm going to the shop or something, you want anything? What does that mean?
They're gonna, well, kind of British mentality
No.
now.
Erase that. You are back in Jamaica, you're in high school, your friends said they're going to tuck shop. What does that mean? And they said, do you want anything? You're going to say, yeah, actually, get me one ginger beer, right? Yeah. Cool. I didn't know that over here, you meant to say, I'm all right, thanks.
You meant to say you're all right?
Yeah.
So what am I asking you for?
To be polite.
Everything is like there's a circle around it. There's a politeness to it, you know.
Like they wouldn't say, oh, can you turn the temperature down in the office? Instead they go,
oh, it's cold here, isn't it?
It's a bit chilly. Oh, are you a bit chilly? I'm a bit chilly. He's a bit chilly.
And then, you know, the thing is, if you go, can we not just turn the heating down? Guess what?
You're rude.
And aggressive. I get caught out so much for this. Because it's almost like, but me always say this to you know, what if God did give 1,000 words a year? We wouldn't have time for politeness, you know? Would I use the words them wisely and just get straight to the point? But and on that note, what are we keeping from how we were raised? Nothing is given. Nothing is mine until I earn it, you know? And hard work so that it has value is something that I am taking away from this and taking forward from my upbringing. We were raised quite resilient. We were raised focused on achieving things at a high level. Our mother taught us to be kind, to be kind and to be forgiving and to be loving and to focus on the humanness that we are living with. And then our dad taught us to work hard and to not let anybody tell us no, because we are worthy and we are worth more. Thank you so much for joining me on the veranda. This has been absolutely hilarious. I've actually enjoyed talking like this with you. But yeah, if this resonates with you and you like the conversation, don't forget to subscribe to us. And I will see you next time at On The Veranda with Kel. Bye.
Bye.